Bonjour.
Yes,
Hello.
bonjour to you too.
Hey, Chris.
Howdy. I say salam, Miss Saab. Ab kaisa hai.
Oh, don't do that to me. I'm no good. I'm no better than bonjour.
No,
That's a really nice picture of you because it looks like you've got two big ears.
I do. Oh dear. I don't like being seen.
we like seeing you.
Oh, great. Oh, it's nice to see you too, but I'm not sure I'd like to be seen.
We may.
Ishlay, what are you chewing on?
Lunch. It's a vital wheat cracker. It's nothing exciting. I just realized I was sitting there going, oh, I'm hungry. So apologies. I won't chew anymore.
Should be a fighter burst. Hi, Nerissa, how are you?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Excellent, excellent. Nice to see you again.
Oh, I know. It's been a while, hasn't it? You'll have to come down to Melbourne to visit.
Yes, I will. I have some people down there, so yeah.
Chris, that'll be too cold for you. You don't like the cold.
It's getting chilly up here.
He's from New Zealand. It doesn't count. He'll be used to it.
He's acclimatized to the Gold Coast.
True.
New Zealand's not cold.
No.
Yeah, okay.
It just depends what you mean by cold.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that one.
Go hang out in Dunedin in winter.
Oh no, that's different. that's not New Zealand.
That's the end of the earth, is it? Is that what that is?
It's just about the end of the earth, yes.
Yeah, that's where you fall off the planet, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Called the uttermost parts of the earth.
Okay, so we're a couple of minutes early, so we'll take a few minutes to allow some more people to join the call. Good. It's amazing. People come in, Stephen. You see their picture for a minute, they turn off the camera very quickly. You know you're out there.
You've got a nice echo going, Sinead.
I think it's you, Nerissa. Is that Lindley? And I can hear that. Maybe not.
Bianca, I can see the top of your head.
Can you? I'm actually driving.
That's the best part of Bianca. It's all good.
Now, Bianca, can you see the flashing lights following you?
Yeah.
I saw them a little earlier, so I got a bit scared then.
G'day, Oscar.
G'day.
Oscar!
Hello. How are you doing?
Hey! How are you?
Good. It's cold up here.
Yes. It's cold here too.
Oh, fair enough.
It's not a competition,
Okay,
people.
it's through my speakers now.
Always a competition.
Hi, Kate.
Karen.
Hi, Ria.
Karen.
Your phone's please.
Hi, Dita.
Hi, Karen.
We can't see your face, Dita.
I know because it's so messy behind me. That's why.
No excuse.
Oh, yes, it is. Is everyone else getting an echo?
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
getting
We think we can use the line that will disappear. We'll mess with your heads and we'll mess with feeding ourselves. So we're just going to wait one more minute and then we get started.
Hi, Stephen. Sinead. Hi.
Is that Oscar?
Mate.
Hi, Donna.
So everybody, we're going to get going. So we're going to mute all the lines, and that will hopefully get rid of the echo. Tonight is the last call in this series, and we're going to do a complete run through from start to finish and provide any updates we've received. Even if we've shared them already, it's no harm to highlight it again. So Stephen, you've got the slides lined up? Yep. And for those of you that don't know us, just in case, I'm Stephen Yin, and that's Sinead Pollock there next to me. So, and we're the brains of the outfit in here. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, Sinead?
That's right. So today's call is going to be basically, we're going to touch on everything again and go into details of all the bonuses and any updates that we recently received from the US. So, you know, some of the things has changed since the first webinar call. So we're going to keep you updated as much as we can so that you're well informed of what's happening. Again, we just want to sort of let you know that not everything is set in stone yet, but a lot of it is 99% completed. So we will update you what we can right now. And then if there's any changes again, moving between now and then the 1st of July, we'll let you guys know of that changes too. So I'm going to basically do a recap quickly from the beginning. So, you know, very quickly, the new terms that's, that you have to be aware of, being you know, the commissionable volume now has replaced APO, and the commissionable volume is at 95% of the purchase price. So, you know, whenever we do a quick calculation of your commission, it's based on the commissionable volume, which means, you know, like if an associate or a member purchase something for $100, we take 95% of that, which is $95, and pull it aside and use that commissionable volume to pay you your commissions, whether it's, you know, 5%, 1%, 3%, and so forth. It's based on the commissionable volume. PPV is something that you will need to be aware of as well. There's a slight changes, as you will see later on when I go through the leadership levels, is that PPV now basically is your personal volume plus your customers, which is right now called members, but it's you and your customers' orders combined to make that total. When we're talking about your customers, we mean level 0. So it's at the side of you, not underneath you. Underneath you is what we call, you know, your level 1s, level 2s, and so forth. But your customers will be at the side of you at the same level as you are. So your PPV will be your volume plus your customers. So PC is just a term that we use in the office called preferred customers. That's just what we can refer to. Sometimes it's called customers, whatever is easiest for you. GPV, I put it in there only because that the new complaint might be enforcing the GPV. GPV is stating that, you know, in your first 5 levels, this does include your own personal level as well, so your PPV. So if, you know, for example, you have a PPV of 500 and your GP requirement is, say, 6,000, that means you just need to find another 5,500 in your next 5 levels. Now, the GPV also includes, you know, your associates plus their customers. So, you know, if you have like two associates having 5 customers each, that's almost like 1,000 points for you in your first level. So we find that in your first 5 levels, your GPV requirements. But I just thought I'd share that with you now in terms of getting you prepared for it. Even though during the transitional period, this GPV requirement would not be enforced. So during the transitional period, the only thing that's going to be really affecting your leadership level is your PPV, your DPV, which we will cover, is your downline point volume. So it's everything underneath you plus your own order. So that's everything. What you term now is a GPV, but it's basically PPV, DPV. The leg structure is what we're enforcing during the transitional period. So those are the only requirements that you need. GPV might not be implemented based on how we go so far, but it's there just in case you, in case that we might be enforcing that. So this is basically how it looks like. So PPV is your personal volume plus your customers. So that's your PPV. Now GPV is you plus your first 5 levels of associates and customers. And then your DPV is basically everything combined. That's including your PPV and your GPV and the rest of your levels. And that's how it's basically calculates your leadership levels. So the main difference with the current comp plan and the new comp plan is that currently there's 18 different ways you can earn the commissions, which, you know, is quite a lot of ways for you to explain it to an associate. It gets confusing as the more details you go into it, and that's why the new comp plan is only going to be 6 ways of doing it. So 6 ways of earning commission is going to make it so much easier for you now to go out there and talk to your new prospects on how they can earn commissions. It's very easy, very simple, and, you know, there's no do this thing to trigger another bonuses. You know, that's where the old comp plan is all about. You know, you trigger one, you need to do one thing in order to earn another commissions. Whoops, sorry about that, folks.
Let's do questions at the end of it.
Yeah, we're gonna do questions at the end of it. At the end of it, and then we'll come back to your questions. So the next one is the 4-week cycle. Now it's going to be converted to a monthly cycle. So it's so much easier now to explain to your prospect that your orders will generate exactly on the same day every month instead of, you know, every 4 weeks, which a lot of people need to work out. So what's 4 weeks from now and so forth. So that's a very big change, and it's going to be very easy now to then bring on people. 8 leadership levels is what we currently have. You know, it's ranging from associate all the way to platinum presidentials. And, you know, it makes it quite difficult for certain people to, you know, go from, say, an example, national to executive, because you have to almost triple your volume and a half of it in order to reach there. You know, from 6,000 to 20,000, that's a lot of volume you have to do, you know, to achieve that leadership level. And in between, while you're doing that, to get to the next leadership level, you're not really being heavily compensated for growing. So, you know, a 6,000 national earns roughly the same as an 18,000 national. Roughly, there could be like $100 or maybe $150 difference between the two, but it's not a significant difference for you to say, do I go out and triple my business and for that additional money? But now the new comp plan, there's basically 18 different ways of earning commissions. The higher you grow with your volume, the more we will award you. So, you know, there'll be smaller steps in between. So that way, you know, there's no giant leaps basically from going from one leadership level to the next. There's small steps getting there all the way to, you know, the highest leadership level, which is the Crown Platinum, the Crown Ambassador Platinum leadership. And this will award you along the way. Whereas, you know, the current comp plan do require you to do a significant leap. So the 6 bonuses that we want to sort of share with you is basically, you know, the Power Seller bonus, which is basically awarding you and your customers. The more purchase you guys make between the two of you, the more bonus you get back from it. So then, you know, you got the Ordership Qualified bonus, which we call it the AQ bonus. This is basically awarding you, getting your customers going on an automatic order and doing their minimum 100 points each. So if you can find 5 customers doing a 100-point order each, you will be awarded $75 US. So the next one is the first order bonus. Now there is changes to that. that I sort of want to share with you later on when we go into details. But basically, the first order bonus is awarding you for bringing in an associate, and then when they place their first order, you get a high percentage from it. Sorry. So you get a percentage from that first order. The next one is leadership, the mentoring bonus. So the mentoring bonus is basically for you whenever you enroll an associate and they achieve a certain leadership level, you do need to be a minimum of a goal. Oops.
We're still here.
Hello?
It's on mute. It's on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, okay, great. Sorry.
Okay, sorry, the
battery was about to die.
battery was going down on us. So basically, the mentoring bonus then is, rewarding you for bringing in new associates and they themselves reach new leadership levels because you're training them, you're mentoring them, you're coaching them to achieve the next leadership level. And for doing that, you'll be awarded a mentoring bonus, which will be a fixed amount every single month they maintain their leadership level. Then you got your Uni-level bonus and Infinity bonus, which is roughly the same. Basically, the Uni-level is, depending on what sort of leadership you are, you do need to be a minimum of a silver associate to start earning the Uni-level. So the Uni-level is awarded based on the levels underneath you. The higher the leadership level you achieve, the more you get to earn the bonuses deep in your organization. And then the Infinity bonus is basically taking over from where the Uni-level bonus stops. So if, for example, a presidential director has a Uni-level that goes paid to level 7, then the Infinity bonus kicks in from level 8 all the way down to whenever the leg stops.
So before we go on, Stephen, we just had a comment that the volume is garbled now. Can you hear us? Can somebody just answer us if they're asking if they can hear us? Just type us a message. Yep. So we're good? All right, we'll keep going.
So this is just a summary of the bonuses. Then the last one is, the second last one, sorry, is the leader check match. The leader check match is basically for you developing leaders underneath you. They do need to be an executive director and above for you to sort of earn a percentage of their checks. So the check is basically based on, or the check matching is based on the Uni-level and the Infinity bonus, which is this one here. So you get a percentage of that based on the leaders underneath you. So you don't have to be the enroller to earn this bonus. You just have to be a gold associate or above in order to start earning this commission. Actually, it's a silver associate and above to earn this commission. So the next one is the last bonus of them all is the consistency pool bonus. This bonus is basically for silver presidentials and above. They get a share in the global sale. 1% of the global sales is distributed amongst the silvers and above presidentials and above leaders, and they get a percentage of that. So those are the 6 bonuses. Very simple, very easy to explain to the prospect or to the field. Now I'm going to go into details with each of them, but before I do that,
you want to hit those questions?
No, we'll probably address the questions towards the end, but if you could sort of make a note of it, and then we'll address it at the end. So that way we can go through it very quickly instead of unmuting it back and forth. So the next leadership level, what I want to sort of address is the leadership level. So as you can see on the screen, this is the new leadership levels. It's going to replace the current leadership levels. So, you got the associate who comes in at 0 volume. Then in order to reach your first leadership level, you need to reach 300 points volume to be a gold, you have to be 750. Director is 1500. This used to be called the regional director, and now it's just going to be a director. Now climbing up the ladder, now you don't have to go from director to national anymore, from 1500 to 6000. Now there's smaller steps in between for you to achieve that, which is what we call a silver director, which is at 2,500 volume, and then a gold director at 4,000 volume. Now, as you go achieve this leadership level, you do get an increase in commissions as well. So the next leadership level then is 6,000 volume, which currently right now is called a national director, but under the new comp plan, it's called an executive director. So that's the new naming for the leaders, and we're going to be referring to this from now on, executive. Then you got your silver executive. Then you got your gold executive. Your gold executive is basically an executive director right now, which is at 20,000. Now the next one that goes to is presidential director, which used to be 60,000 volume. Now it's gonna be at 40,000. So we're expecting a lot of new PDs in this new comp plan when it kicks in, based on that. And beyond that, then you got your bronze presidential director at 80,000, silver presidential director at 160, gold presidential at 240, and then your platinum is at 320. Now, under the current comp plan, that's where the leadership stops, at the platinum presidentials. This makes it really hard for a lot of people to grow beyond platinum presidentials, because like Alvala said, a 4 million platinum presidential director is earning almost the equivalent of a 320K platinum presidential director. So there's no much motivation for you to grow from 320 all the way to even to 1 million. There's no sort of incentive for you. But now in the new comp plan coming 1st of July, there is an incentive for you to go beyond that. So we have inserted new leaderships in there. You got your first star platinum, then you got your second star, which is at 1.25 mil. Then you got your 3-star, which is at 2.5 mil, and then your 4-star platinum, which is at 5 mil. And now the highest leadership level of them was your crown platinum ambassador, which is at 10 million. Now, reaching this leadership level is basically, a very high CEO wages, salary that you're going to be earning.
So that's what we're on.
I wish. So that's the sort of leadership levels that we have planned. These are the new leadership levels in place, which will hopefully award you as you grow along, and then let you grow beyond a certain leadership as well. So you want to go beyond where you are and achieve the highest leadership levels as you can. Now, so those are the leadership. This is basically what it looks like comparing from the current comp plan to the new comp plan. As you can see, there's a difference in the leadership levels. So, there's your silver and gold associate in between the two leadership levels. So you'll be awarded for achieving these leadership. Then you got 2 leadership levels inserted between your regionals and nationals, which is your director and executive. So you'll be awarded for achieving this. So you're doing small steps along the way to achieving the bigger leadership levels. And that's what we want to be able to incentivize you and reward you as you grow. The more volume you increase, the more you should be compensated for it. And achieving these leadership levels will allow us to do that for you. So as you can see now, the gold executive is at 20,000, which is what we currently executive director. Presidential is now at 40K. So it's going to be very exciting time for a lot of new people, because you're going to have a lot of new presidential directors in your organization. Now, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum stays the same in terms of the naming of the leaderships. But then, we inserted 5 additional leaderships right here for you. So coming up now to how do you achieve these leadership levels? What is the requirement needed to achieve that? So, to achieve this first silver associate, before I go into the requirement, I just have to let you know that this is during the transitional period. So come 1st of July up to January 2018, this is the requirement we're looking for. It's not going to be, like I said, the full requirement. So it makes it so a lot easier for you to transition over. You know, when you do all the other stuff like what we're going to share later, when the full complaint kicks in, you should be in a very good position already to, you know, achieve the other requirements. So just bear that in mind. This is sort of the leadership requirement. So for a lot of us, you know, silver and gold associate, you do need a minimum of 100 ppb. Now, a lot of associates are already ordering that sort of volume, which should be quite easy to continue on that. And, you know, the volume is you're sitting at 300 and 750 respectively. Now, the new rules has changed in terms of leg structure. Currently, the leg structure is 65-35. The new rule in the new complaint is 60-40. So this will, you know, allow you to have a more balanced leg as you grow into your organizations. And, you know, the requirements of the leg activity is still very similar. You do need to have 2 legs. Now, when they say active leg, active means basically just having one associate ordering 100 points. That's all it means. You know, you don't need to have, say, for example, you know, your 750 volume, that 450 will come from one leg, and the other 300 needs to come from the other leg. That doesn't really mean you need 300. Let's just say, for example, you have 500 ppb, which you meet the requirement of the minimum of 100. So of that 750, you already achieved 500 from your ppb. Therefore, the other 250 needs to come from your 2 legs. One leg can have 150 and the other leg can have 100. Now that will still give you your GP leadership requirement. So that's what active means. It becomes more clearer as you go up in the higher leadership levels when we explain that to you. So for example, you know, a director, silver and gold, you do need to have that sort of minimum of 150. Now 150 volume, for a lot of people, that's should be easily quite met because a lot of you have already been ordering that sort of amount anyway. But for those that are not, you know, if you're just ordering 100, you just need to find another customer that will be able to help you with extra 50-point volume. Now, that's going to be very easy when we talk about the other bonuses along the way, which you should easily achieve. But in saying that, you know, 150 is what you require from director, associate, all the way up. This is, like I said, this is during the transitional period. It's not what's going to be once the full complaint kicks in. There is going to be a slight changes to the PPV. But while we're during the transitional period, this is all what we're looking for from you. So, you know, as a director, you need 150 and so forth. Your DPV now becomes, you know, 1,500, 2,500 if you're silver, 4,000 if you're gold, and 6,000 if you're an executive. So these are the sort of leg requirements. Maximum we will count from each of the legs. You will still need 2 legs for them. When you go up to gold executive, that's when it changes to 3 legs. Now this is where the sort of changes sort of happens at the moment. So the transitional period, like I mentioned, is from the 1st of July up to January 2018. So it's a 6 months transitional period for you. So what we're looking at during the transitional period, when you're silver executive and above, your 150 still stays the same like all the others. Your DPV increases like we discussed before, but now your leg structure has changed. Your leg structure requirement is 70-30. So 70% maximum on one leg and 30% on your second leg or combining your other remaining legs. So now this is where active really comes into play, especially for gold executive and above. When we're looking at the 70-30, we're saying, you know, you can technically have 14,000 in one leg. Just say, for example, we're working off the gold executive, 14,000 in one leg. Your remaining 6,000 can come from your second leg, right? But because you do need to have a third leg, all you have to do is just find one associate ordering 100 points, and that will automatically become your third active leg, and you will still meet that 70-30 requirement and the free leg rules. So that's how active legs can come into play, especially for people that, you know, are working deaf in your organization, you know, structuring on the 2 legs, building that, and then eventually, you know, work on your third and fourth leg. But for people that, you know, you should be focusing more evenly across your legs. But if you're not, if you're just gonna try and focus 2 legs at a time, this will be a big beneficial to you, because you can have, like I said, 70% in one leg, 30% in your second leg, and just a 100-point order in your third leg.
Stephen, can it be a customer? Can it be associate?
No,
Customer has to be
it has to be an associate, sorry.
Yep, it's okay.
So when you look at that, that's the sort of requirement you're looking for. That's what we're looking for during the transitional period. When you're a platinum presidential, of course, you do need 4 legs, which currently is the same as well, 4 legs and above from there. But again, like I said, it's the 70-30 rules. You can have, you know, a maximum of 2,000 or 224,000 in one leg, and the remaining in your second leg, and then just have 2 associates in your third and fourth leg ordering a 100-point order. That's how easy and how effective that active leg can be for you, if that's how you want to build your business. But, you know, of course, when you're reaching this sort of leadership level, you should be basically working evenly across the 4 legs, and hopefully having very similar volume in your 4 legs. But so that's the leadership level. And again, I just want to sort of inform you, this is during the transitional period. Once the transitional period ends, we will review this again, and if there's further requirements required from you, we will inform you of what's the further additional sort of requirement you do need. Now, the last thing I want to touch on the leadership level is the qualification additional criteria, especially for bronze presidentials and above. Now, your bronze presidentials and above do need to have a certain structure requirement, which also requires points. So how this works is, say, for example, a bronze presidential director, in order for you to be a bronze, you do need to have, of course, your minimum GPV requirement of the 80,000, but you also do need to have 1 point in order to be qualified as a bronze presidential. Now, how does the point system works is that if you have a gold executive and above in your organization, they're allocated a certain point value. Now, each of the value is based on the leadership levels, and we will only count the highest leader in that leg. So let's just say, for example, you have a gold in there, a gold executive, and then you have a presidential done underneath the gold. We will count the presidential director as the highest leadership level in that leg. So that's how we identify which is what point we give you based on what sort of highest leadership level you have. Now, if you have no leaders in that leg, or if you have the leaders, say, silver and below, then you have no points. Basically, no points is awarded. You do need to have a minimum of gold executive and above in each of the legs in order for you to count. Now, to be a bronze, you do need to have 1 point. 1 point means you can have 2 gold executives or 1 presidential director. So that's how you can become a bronze, by having 2 of the gold executive or 1 presidential director in your organization. Now, when it comes to silver and above, it does require a little bit more than just having 1 leader in your team. For silvers and above, you do need to have a minimum of 2 legs that do need to meet the requirement of a minimum of gold executive in each of the 2 legs. Now, in saying that, you know, gold executive and above, as long as you know you have like a PD is considered a gold executive, of course. Bronze presidential is considered gold executive. As long as you have any leadership level higher than a GE, which is gold executive, then that will become your leadership requirement. So, for example, you know, it's stating here you need bare minimum of 2 gold executives. So, you know, that will only give you 1 point in total. You will still then need to go out and find another 1 point. So that would mean, you know, let me draw this on a diagram quickly so that you can sort of understand it a bit. So basically, it's like this. This is you. Oops. Oops. So this is you. Now,
Lovely color.
now if you have, say, for example, an executive here, and then you have a gold executive here, this gold executive here is worth to you half a point. Over here, you have, say, another gold executive. That's your other half point. So that will mean, you know, you have achieved the requirement of the silver of having 2 minimum gold executive. But the other requirement is that you do need to have an additional 2 points. So these 2 combined will only give you 1 point. That's 1 point. So you will need to find the additional point. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either develop another 2 executives or 2 gold executives. So 1 here, and let's just say 1 over here as a gold. That's one option. So therefore, you have 4 legs of gold executive, one in each leg. Or the alternative is to have 1 presidential director here. So as you know, presidential director is worth 1 point. So that's an option. The other option, of course, is, you know, if you have 2 presidential directors, that actually gives you 1 point already. So 1 point each, and you don't need to have the leadership here. As long as you meet the requirement of the volume, then you have met the requirement of the 2 gold executive and the 2 points requirement, which you got from 1 PD here and 1 PD here. And that's basically how it's sort of how the leadership is calculated. So that's your 2 gold executive and your 2 points, and then so forth for your gold presidential directors. You need 3 gold executive and 3 points and so forth, and it gets higher and higher. So now, we're going to basically go into the bonuses. So the first bonus, as I mentioned, is the power seller bonus. The power seller bonus is basically awarding you and your customer's order. You know, in the current comp plan, you don't get awarded for your own personal order. As long as you meet, you know, your 100-point requirement, you get paid as whatever leadership level you achieve. Whereas now, in the new comp plan, you actually get something back from your own personal order as long as you meet the tier requirements. So, you know, if the tier requirement is if you have a minimum order of 150, between 150 and 499 point value, this is including yourself and your customer. If you have a value of a combined sort of purchase order of these points, you get 5% back from that order. So remember, it's 5% of the CV. So let's just work off, for example, if the value of the product comes in total is around $500, we take 95% out, which is $450 or $475, sorry, out from that, and you get 5% of that $475. So that's how it works, and this does include your own order too. So if you're ordering, just say for example, 100-point order or 150, you get 5% from the CV of that 150. So that's how it works. And then if you combine your order plus your customers and it goes beyond 500 and 999, you fall into our second tier, which allows you to earn 10% back. So 10% back on your CV from the combined total of your customer and your own personal order. Now, if you find customers that's starting to order quite a lot of our products, which is quite good for you and your business, is you get to fall into the tier 3 if it becomes 1,000 or more PPV. If it's a combined customer order and your own order, it's over 1,000 points, you get 15% back on that. And a few leaders have already did the quick calculation of a rough estimate of let's just say $1,000, and you get $950 as your CV. You get 15% of that $950 back in commission. So that's quite a lot of commissions coming back from your own customers' orders. This works in line really well with the other bonus, which I'm going to talk later, is that combining these two bonuses, you're going to be making so much more money than just, currently the team bonus is what a lot of people are trying to achieve by having a certain amount of volume in their organization. But, if you combine that with what we call the auto ship qualification bonus, which is AQ for short. Now, the AQ bonus is basically you finding 5 customers and having those 5 customers ordering 100 point or more automatic order. They have to be on automatic order for you in order to achieve this. And it is a bare minimum of 5. A lot of people say, what if I find 5 but one was ordering less? You won't be getting that AQ bonus. You will need to have a minimum of 5 on a 100-point order automatic orders in order for you to earn the AQ personal, which is $75 US. Again, I just want to let you know that the figures I'm stating right now is still US dollars. We have been liaising with the US corporate to finalize the Australasian region figures, so we hope to be able to provide you with that as soon as possible. But for now, we're still working off the US dollars. So this is $75 for you for finding 5 customers on a 100-point automatic order. Now, remember, like I said, this is almost like your team bonus right now for anyone that's, asking why, or asking how do I deal with customers right now who's an associate that's earning a team bonus. This is for you to now be able to dangle in front of them to say, just find 5 customers on a 100-point order, and you get your 75, which in today's conversion, it's almost $100, right? It's $100 automatically for them on this 5 customers program. Not only that, as an associate, because you reach the minimum requirement of the 500 PPV, you will also get an additional 10% in power bonus back. So, you're looking at close to $100 plus your power seller bonus, which let's just say another $20 or $30, right? So that's $120 back to you just by finding 5 customers on 100-point orders each. And the best news about that is that, you don't need leg structure requirement. You don't have to worry every month that this person's not ordering in this leg or that person's not ordering in that leg. I'm short, so how do I make up for it? That sort of no longer is required. You just need to have 5 customers ordering 100-point orders each, and you get your automatically the $75 US plus whatever the power seller is giving you as well. So you're automatically almost, I would say, making twice as much money for less work. Remember, the team bonus right now requires you 600 volume structured correctly. This one is only requiring you 500 volume with no structure. So that's how easy it is, and you're getting more money as well. So, you know, that's why we're very excited about the new changes coming. A lot of the associates, even customers right now who are an associate and, you know, want to, you know, get their orders covered for, this is a way for you to, you know, promote it, and it allows them to see more money already just from finding 500 point volume. So that's how easy it is. Now, you know, if you or your associates decide, you know, to go on and want to build a slightly more better lucrative commission, they can go out and find 2 associates and help these 2 new associates to find their 5 customers. In doing so, you know, if you do that, you will be awarded another $300 on top. So that's $300 US, which is, I would say, an equivalent of 450 right now, roughly. So if you look at your personal AQ now combining with your team AQ, that's almost $550 return for you from just having, you know, roughly 1,500 volume. Now that's a regional sort of leadership level, and you're already making, I would say, double what a regional director, maybe even triple of a certain regional director check, just by having the same volume, but doing this slightly different in terms of the building the business. So, you know, it's a very powerful tool for you now to, you know, talk to your prospect or talk to your team about it as well, because this is awarded to any associate, no matter what leadership level you are. You will be awarded this bonus, this AQ bonus, once you have achieved your 5 and find 2 associates. You do need to be the enroller of the 2 associates in order to achieve this. But if you get your 2 associates to find their 5 customers, you get the additional $300. So how does it look like? It's basically something like this. So you plus your 5, you get the $75 US. And now you go out and find 2 business builders and help them to get their 5. It becomes, we give you another $300 on top of that. That gives you a total of $375. Now this is on top of, you know, your whatever power seller you're gonna get, as well as being a regional, besides being a director, you also get that sort of director bonus as well for achieving the leadership levels. And last thing I sort of want to touch on this bonus is, you know, it doesn't need to be structured like this. This is just an example of how it's structured. The new with that, you know, you as the enroller, as long as you have your 5 and you find, you know, an associate A here and help that associate find their 5. Now the other associate, you can do like this if you wanted to. Associate B, help them find their 5. However, you know, there's no leg requirement again for this bonus. Now this B associate can come underneath here if this is how you want to build it. You know, that associate can come here and you can have A and B in the same leg. As long as they have their 5 customers, you will automatically get $300 for helping them, US dollars. And let's just do another example of, you know, you here and you found an associate A and B. You know, it doesn't have to be front line to you as well. So let's just say A actually goes out and find their 5, but you'll be here decided that they just want to purchase the product and stay as a product user. So you go out and find another customer or another associate at C, but this C associate becomes active and wants to build a business and find his 5. You will have your team AQ based on that. So your team AQ will still be paid out because of this structure. So, you know, it doesn't have to be 2 front lines to you. It can be further down, you know, it could even be on level 10 if you wanted to, level 10 all the way down here. And as long as you're the enroller, 2 associates with 5 customers each, you will get that TMAQ. And it can also be in one leg as well. So in saying that, you know, that's how powerful this bonus can be for you. And as I mentioned, you do need to be enroller, but it's quite a very powerful tool. And depending on how you build your business, it can be really beneficial to you because there's no leg structure requirement for you to achieve that. So now the next bonus that we want to sort of tackle is what we call the first order bonus. The first order bonus is basically for you introducing an associate, we will pay you 15% of the bundle. Now, in the last call, I did mention, you know, the 15% on the bundle is worked out from the 60% commission volume. That is basically incorrect. What it is it actually will be paid on the actual bundle price. So whatever the bundle price is, I'll do a quick example for you. Say a bundle price is say $250. You get 15% of that. So as the enroller of introducing that associate, it's actually 15% of the actual price that they pay. So whether it's 250, whether it's 500, it's 15% of whatever price they pay. Now where the 60% comes in is that because we're paying you already a 15% on the volume of, or on the actual value of the bundle, we're taking this a further 60% from that price paid on the bundle to be calculated in the rest of your bonus. So, you know, if you're reaching, say for example, a leadership level and you are entitled to the Uni-level, but your associate, your first level associate ordered this, we're going to take 60% of that and put it aside for your calculation of the commissions, because you're already getting 15% on the bundle itself. So let's work off the bundle, say $100. You're getting $15 automatically paid into your account as a first order. But at the same time, we're going to take out another $60 from that $100 bundle and put it aside so that you can be paid on the commissions on the other bonuses. So that's how the 60% rule comes in. And the 15% is actually paid on the actual price of the bundle itself. So hopefully that clarifies that for you. So moving on is the organizational bonus. So, you know, the first free bonus, or actually the first 2 bonus that we shared with you was basically you don't need to be at a certain leadership level to qualify for these bonuses. So these bonuses back here, you don't need to be at a leadership level to qualify for it. Whereas the bonus that I'm going to talk now in the organizational bonuses, you do need to achieve a certain leadership level to be paid. So the first one in the organizational bonus is what we call the mentoring bonus. The mentoring bonus is basically paid to the enroller of the leader that you develop underneath you. So if you were the enroller of any of these associate leadership level, you'll be paid a certain fixed amount. Again, this is the US dollar. So let's just say you're the enroller of a gold associate in your organization. Underneath you, you as the enroller be awarded $30 US. But the only thing that I need to sort of let you know is that you do need to be at the same leadership level or higher in order to earn these bonuses at the full amount. You can earn the mentoring bonus at a lesser amount if you are a lower at a lower level than the leaders underneath you that you personally enroll. So, for example, if you have an executive director in your organization, but you're only at a silver director, for some reason, your leg structure wasn't right, but you still meet the requirement of a silver director, but you're the enroll of this executive, because you're silver, you will be only awarded $50 US instead of the full 100. This is the reason why we did this is, we're trying to encourage you to, be one step ahead of the people underneath you, or build your organization at the same time as the people underneath you. So, it allows you to be able to be awarded, compensated at the leadership level you achieve. So that's sort of the requirement that you do need. You do need to be at the same or higher leadership level in order to earn the full bonuses, and you do need to be the enroller of these leaders in you. So for executive and above, anyone, say for PDs, platinum presidentials, if you're the enroller, you will only get the maximum of $100 US. So that's the sort of bonus that you do get. The only thing I do want to sort of share with you is that all these bonuses that we're talking about, there's no roll-up. So, if you're not active, or if the person underneath you is the enroller of a certain leader, there's no roll-up in terms of the commissions. So, say for example, you enrolled someone who is an executive director, and that executive director enrolled another executive director underneath you, but the executive in between you and the other one becomes inactive. That $100 doesn't roll up to you. It doesn't get paid out if that enroller is not active. So, we do encourage that if your people in your organizations are getting paid a certain bonuses, you should encourage them to stay on and start building the business. So the next bonus is the Uni-level payout. So the Uni-level is basically paying you on a certain level in your organization. The higher you achieve your leadership level, the higher you can earn, or the deeper you can earn in your organization. So up to level 7 in terms of payout. So how do the levels calculated? The levels is calculated as defining as an active order. So this could mean, an associate ordering 100 points or 25 points or even, 50 points. As long as there's an order in there, it becomes an active level. So it doesn't have to be an associate too, it can be a customer. Let's just say, for example, I enrolled Sinead, and Sinead bring in 5 people, but then she decided she didn't want to build the business anymore. But of the 5, one of them is still ordering, say, a 24-point amount of it. That still creates a level for you. The only way we will compress a level is when it becomes a total 0. So the PPV underneath you, say the next leadership level, the next leader, the next associate underneath you have a PPV of 0, that's when we compress it to the next level underneath. So that's how a pay level is worked. So if it's 0 PPV for, say, 3 legs, and the 3 level, and the 4th level has an order in there, that becomes your level 1, the physical level 1 in terms of payment. And that's how we compress it. So this is how we work out your Uni-level payout. So as long as there's an active order, that becomes your level 1, and we will pay you, for example, a silver associate 3% of the CD of whatever volume in that level 1. So let me just draw a quick example for you of what I mean in terms of how we pay. So for example, if this is you have an associate here, and here. And let's do another example over here. here. So let's just say, for example, their customers, their 5 customers here equals 0 PPV. That would not be considered a level. If an associate here orders 24-point volume, then this is your level 1. And if this is, say, another 0 PPV, and this is 100-point here, this becomes level 2. So that's how we sort of work out the pay levels. But you got to remember, it's basically working on when you're working how the level work. If this is, say, for example, 50-point over here, this is your level 1. This is basically the equivalent of this level. And then this here is 0. This here then becomes 50, and 50, that becomes level 2 and level 2. So that's how we will calculate your percentage based on the volume. So, as long as there's a 0 PPV, it will be compressed down to the next person that's ordering, or the next active level that's ordering. So that's how we work out the 3%. If you're a silver associate, you get paid on the first level of active orders. For gold, you get up to 2 levels, all the way up to, a presidential director, you get up to 7 levels. So these are the sort of the percentage that you make from it. So let's just say, for example, a gold associate, which is at 20,000. If you have, on level 1, you have close to, 1,000 point of orders, you get, or let's just say $1,000 worth of orders, level 1, you get 70% of that sort of 95% commission volume. And then so forth in terms of level 2, level 3, up to level 4. Now, you would question then, what happens to the rest of the levels? Say, even for a presidential director, what happened to my level 8 and below? Now, the uni-level does stop at that, but the infinity bonus kicks in. The infinity bonus starts from executive director, which is at 6,000 volume, and it gets paid on 1% of your rest of your volume. So for an executive all the way to bronze, we work the infinity bonus on your biggest leg. So, if you have, say, from level 5, if you're an executive, so for an executive, remember the uni-level stops at level 5. So from the infinity bonus, it starts from level 6. From level 6 onwards, if your leg, say, goes to 99, you get 1% of all of that all the way down. And plus, you got to remember, it is on your power leg, right? So if you have a power leg that stretches out like this, let's just assume this is your power leg, and this is just say level 6, okay? We already paid you out your first 5 levels here. So from level 6, it splits into that, right? Because we all know every organization tends to split further and further as you go down. This is just an example. So from level 6 here, all the way down here, you get 1% of the CV. So, it's 1% on this leg, and then 1% on that, and all the way here. So it's basically you're getting paid on everything on your power leg. So, it does sort of encourage you to sometimes build depth if that's what you are building. But, it does pay you for building depth if you need to. But, we do encourage you to keep the volume as close to you as possible, because instead of, earning 1%, you would rather earn, 3% or 4% or 7%, right? You don't want to be earning 1%. You want to be earning the higher percentage. The more percentage you get, the more money you make, and hence why we want to award you for keeping your volume closer. But if you feel that you want to build depth, you will still be compensated for it, for your effort. For silver, from executive to bronze, it is on your power leg. From silver to platinum, from silver and above, it becomes your side volume. So we look for, in your legs, we see how many legs you have, and we look for the biggest leg in that. And then we will calculate your infinity bonus on the remaining of the legs. That's only for silvers and above. But, executive to platinum presidential, there is a cap that we put in place only because you should be earning the right amount of commission for the leadership level you achieve. We have seen in the current comp plan where a national director is sitting on a massive volume of presidentials in his organization, and he's getting quite a lot of check for it because of the volume. But you should only be entitled to whatever leadership level you achieve, which there's a cap of $200 if you're an executive, $400, $600, $800, and then $1,000 if you're bronze presidential, and up to $10,000 if you're platinum. So coming back to the executive illustration is, you could be an executive director and having a couple of presidential directors in your power leg, right? And the infinity bonus will definitely pay you more than $200 because you got so much volume, but that's not really paying you at the level that you really are. If you should be, if you be entitled to the higher volume, you need to be at a higher leadership level, and hence why we put the cap in. So in saying that, the next leadership, the next bonus is what we call the leader check match. Now, the leader check match is another exciting bonus that we're very excited about, because the leader check match is basically you earning a percentage of your downlines in your organization. Now, how is that calculated is basically whatever bonus you get from your Uni-level and your infinity bonus, the leadership check match is based on those two bonus. So, I was talking to liaising with the US, and they said on average, they have worked out an average, it's not confirmed, but on average, between 50 to 60% of most leaders' check comes from the Uni-level and the infinity bonus. So you're getting a big chunk of the bonus from there. Hence why, we are giving you also a percentage of that in your downline. So how that works is you do need to be a silver executive and above, which is meaning you do need to have 1,000K volume in your organization. And what we will do is we will pay you for the leader check match. How that works is that for any executive directors, remember executive directors is 6,000. So for any executive director that you develop and above, you basically get 20% of their Uni-level and infinity bonus. So that's quite a lot of bonus. Just for example, an executive is making $1,000, and of that 1,000, say 50% comes from the Uni-level and infinity. You get 20% of that, and that's $100 for you. And the good thing about it is that you don't need to be the enroller of that executive director. As long as you're the first silver executive director above them, you get paid on that. Now, you can see at the side here, there's generations. So how does the generation works is that every time you have a silver executive director underneath you, that creates a generation. So, the more leaders you have at an executive, potentially the more you can earn. But we do encourage you to go beyond developing executive because you want to grow very quickly. Or the alternative is, build thousands of executive directors, and then you will achieve your other leadership levels. That's the other alternative. But let's show you. I'll show you quickly how the generation works. How the leader check match work. So I'm just going to work off the one leg because it basically is exactly the same in the other legs. So how it works is that, there's a couple of scenarios that you can do. Let's just say, for example, you have one executive here, and then a silver executive, and then an executive in a silver here. This is just one illustration I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple more for you. So you yourself do need to be at a silver executive and above in order for you to start earning the leader check match. So basically, you get 20% on that, 20% on that, 20% on that, and 20% on that. You don't earn anything on this one because this silver executive now becomes your generation 1. Comes to Gen 1. So in order for you to achieve, in order for you to access this leader underneath you, you do need to go up to a gold executive, because gold executive allows you to access 2 generations deep. So how's the 2 generations deep work is like this. You're a gold here. So let's just use this example over here. So if you're a gold and you have a silver executive here, this becomes your Gen 1. Now, if you have an executive here, remember, executive directors doesn't create generations. You do get paid on them as long as they reach the executive level. So you continue getting paid until you reach another. Let's just say gold executive here. So this guy now becomes your Gen 2. Sorry about the writing, folks.
What was that?
So that becomes your Gen 2. So you don't earn the leader check match beyond that unless you go up to the next leadership level. But you get to earn anything in between here. So between this generation 1 and generation 2, let's just say you have another executive here. You earn 20% on that too. So the more executive you have, the more chances you can earn more bonuses based on that. So the generation 2 kicks into effect when you achieve a silver executive or above. That creates a generation for you. So coming back to here, a gold executive, you can get up to 2 generations. Presidential director up to 3, and so forth, up to 6 generation deep once you reach a gold presidential director. So that do allow you to access so much more leaders in your organization. Now, in saying that, there is a cap, as you can see the cap here. For each leaders that you have, you can earn a maximum of that cap. So if you're a silver and you have a lot of executive in you, the maximum you can earn from them is 250 each. So remember, this is per leader, not a combine of all the checks you have, all the leaders you have, and then we say there's a cap of 250. No, what we're saying is it's 250 each leader that you have. We will cap it at 250. So that will encourage you, to develop as many leaders as you can, because there's no terms of the amount of leadership that you can have. So, you know, 20% up to all the way until your first generation. Now, if you're a gold executive, there's a cap limit of $500 per leader, and that goes up to second generation. And then there's a cap of $750 if you're a PD, and it goes up to 3 generations, you know, of leader check match. And that's, like I said, that's per leader. So, you know, if you have, say, for example, if you're a platinum presidential and you have a platinum in your organization, you know, and they're within your generations here, you get 20% of that up to the cap of 750. And that's still quite a lot of money for the level that you have achieved, you know, presidential director. And let's come back to, you know, the mentoring bonus as well, because the more people that you're developing, the more that you get in the mentoring bonus. This is basically saying the same thing. The more leaders you have as an executive and above, the more you can potentially earn from them as well. And the best part is you don't have to be the enroller. That's the best part of the leaders check matches. One of the most exciting things that we're doing with this new comp plan. So hopefully you all understand that it's actually quite simple to explain, as you saw in the diagram. So moving on is the last bonus of them all, which is also one of the highest paying bonus. A bonus that you can get is the consistency pool bonus. Now the consistency pool bonus is only for active silver presidentials and above. And if you remember, a silver presidential is, you know, someone that has a minimum of 2 gold executive and 2 points. You know, basically 2 legs. Well, actually it's 4 legs, but 2 power legs and 2 active legs combining will basically give you your silver presidential leadership. Now, if you're silver leadership presidentials and above, you get to have a share in the global sales, that Manatech has each month. So we take 1% of the global sales and then distribute it amongst this, the top leaders, the silvers and above leaders. But in order to award it correctly, we have also, you know, allocated shares for you. So, you know, a silver gets 1 share, a gold gets 1.5 share, a platinum gets 2 shares, and so forth. It depends on how many shares we issue. That's the sort of amount of percent you get from the global sales. So, you know, if we only issue, say, folks, this is just an example, and it's, you know, it is out of proportion, but I want to sort of illustrate it because it's easy to understand. Is, say, for example, we issued only 10 shares and your silver, you get one share of that. That becomes 10% of the global sale, of the 1% global sale. So, you know, 10% of the global sales is quite a lot of money. And, you know, our Bala is trying to turn us into $1 billion company. So, you know, you're going to be getting a lot more as we go achieve that sort of sales. So, you know, we do encourage you to be, to try and achieve silvers and above, because this is going to be quite a big check portion in your check when you reach that leadership levels. And we know when the new compact kicks in, we're going to get a few silver presidentials almost automatically based on the leg structure. So that's basically our 6th bonus. We're going to now sort of open up.
Let me address the questions we have already.
Yes.
Before we open up. Because I've got some from the chat and I've got some from the text. First question, not appreciated. Is Stephen writing in Cantonese? No, and you should be slapped for that, and you know who you are. Next question is, just to confirm, is your customers' volumes, your 5, if you've got 5 customers, included in the GPV?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that answers that. Do you have to have 5 customers to earn the power seller?
No, you don't.
Okay. If you have 10 customers on a 50-point AO, would you get AQ, or does it have to be the 5 on a 100-point?
Sorry?
So rather than having 5 customers on 100.AO to get the AQ. If you had 10 on 50.AO, would that work?
No, it doesn't. You do need to have a minimum of 100-point order, and you do need to have a minimum of those 5 customers.
And I can say check match does mean check as in CHEQUE, so it's just the American term. And again, how long is the transition period? That's July 1 to January 1.
That's correct. So 6 months. So those were sort of the quick questions that we got from the chat.
So I see Karen's hand is up.
So if you have questions, just raise your hand. We're going to go through each one as we can. So at the moment, we've got Karen.
Karen, you should be live.
Okay. First of all, we know that not until next year the renewal situation's coming in. So what about people that are going to have their renewals due for the rest of this year? Are we still going to have to do the 225 and renew?
No, if it's going to fall during the transitional period, they don't have to renew. We'll automatically convert them to be an associate. If it's prior to the 1st of July and they're due for renew, just say for example in BP7.
I can't. Yeah, someone else is unmuted, I think. Okay, go on. Sorry, Stephen. I just couldn't hear you. Like with someone talking in the background.
Yep, I'm going to try to.
Yeah, if Angeline could mute herself, that would be awesome.
Okay, so there we go. So sorry about that, Karen.
That's okay.
Okay, so as I was saying, if the renewal is due in between the transitional period, so from 1st of July until January 2018, they don't have to renew because they will be automatically transitioned into the new comp plan. But if they have to renew prior to 1st of July, say for example, BP7, and they are at a national and above, it's recommended that they renew because then they can be paid at the all-star status for the national checks. Otherwise, it goes down to a regional check.
Okay, so you're telling me anyone who's due to renew between July and December doesn't have to pay the 225. They can just ignore the renewal time.
That's correct.
But the suckers in June, which is me, have to pay it. Okay. I have another question. I really couldn't understand what you meant by the 60%. Oh no, let me ask another question first. On this first order thing, you're talking about bundles.
Yes, correct.
What about if people just buy, don't buy a bundle and sign up as an associate with, 3 or 4 products? Is it still 15% on whatever they purchase?
No, the 15% will be only applicable to the bundles that they purchase. They have to purchase a bundle. If they purchase, say, for example, in a normal automatic order, up to some whatever value, because they're going to pick and choose, it's going to convert that first order into a normal commissional payout.
Oh, okay. So it's just an automatic order and there's no first order bonus.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And could you please explain that 60% again? Because I just really didn't get that.
Yeah, that's okay. So with the first order, let's just say, for example, a bundle is worth $200. The first order, you get 15% of that 200, so that's roughly $30 for you. From that first order bundle of that 200, we're going to take a further 60% out of that 200, so that's $120, so that we can pay you in your other bonus. So
What other bonus? What other bonus?
Uni-level bonus, the infinity bonus, if that's going to be applicable, depending on where you place them. So those are the other bonus that where the commissions will be paid from that 60%.
Not clear to me.
Let me bring up.
I mean, the other bonuses are based on the commissionable volume of 95%. So
that's
I
right.
don't get the 60% bit.
Yeah, that's correct for normal orders, like automatic orders and one-time orders. It's basically 95%. But for the first-time order for an associate, because we're paying you already 15% from the bundle, we're saying that we cannot take another 95% to pay you in the other commissions. We're saying we're only going to take 60% of this order.
It's just on that one order. Okay.
That's right. Only just that one order. Correct.
I think I get that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, so just on the side, we've got a couple of questions. If you look here, just scroll up, Stephen. There's one for that about loyalty. Yes, so from Mark, Stephen.
Yep.
Karen, Stacey, Dan.
Okay, so we have a question about the loyalty program. So the new updated information we got is with associates in the new comp plan. If you're an associate, there's a tier sort of system in terms of the loyalty. So you will, for any new associates, you know, the tier is 5%. Actually, sorry, it's 10% in your first 3 months. In your next 3 months thereafter, which is month 4 to 6, you get 15% loyalty credits, and then on your 7th month onward, you get 20%. So that's the tier loyalty for new associates. Now, for existing associates that's on 20% right now, you're going to be automatically converted to the 20% in the new comp plan. So you're going to stay the same as is in the new comp plan. For you, however, if you do miss a month in the new comp plan, you will have to go back to the tier system. So you have to start from tier 1 again and work your way back up to tier 3. So that's for an associate. Now, for the members / customers, currently the customers are earning 20%. In the new system, it's going to be a fixed amount at 10%. So it's going to be 10% for customers. They're going to stay at, they don't have a tier system, so they're going to have 10% all the way through. The reason why we're doing this is because now customers are now purchasing the product at the same price as an associate. So you're getting already, or they're getting an additional 5% discount. So that's hence why it's a 10% loyalty credit. So hopefully that addresses that for you.
So we're going to the next question.
So most regarding the next question that we had is, where do we find most of this information? Most of these, the compensation PowerPoint presentation is available on the resource library. So if you go to the resource library and type in compensation plan in the US library, you'll be able to find the PowerPoint. But the information we're sharing with you, that hasn't been in written form yet. It's on a communication basis at the moment until we finalize that comes 1st of July. So
we are working currently on some documents that we got from the US to localize, and as soon as they're all ready to go, we'll add them to the library, and we will let you know that there are updates that you can go and view. So
yes. And the next question, before we ask you guys to raise your hand on the side here, is currently members can't order bundles. Will this change on 1st of July? Yes. In the new comp plan, members customers can order bundles. So whatever bundles we're creating will be applicable to both associates as well as the customers. So because of the prices being the same, there is now no longer the distinguishing factor between a customer and an associate. So we will be able to make that available to both status. So is there any questions in the meantime? No? We'll continue with the list here. There's further questions to say.
Well, the 95% being used for payments.
So there's a question here stating rather than 95% being used for payments, the first order will contribute only 60. So that's correct. So it's only based on the first order for an associate. So the second order onwards, it will be treated as a normal commission volume at 95%. So,
Kind is asking you to repeat about the tier on the loyalty, Stephen. Can you redo that?
So on it, repeating on the tier is that for new associates, when they join on 1st of July, in order for them to earn the loyalty credits in the first 3 months, they need to have an automatic order and they'll get 10%. The next 3 months, which is months 4 to 6, they get 15% loyalty credits. And then on the 7th month onward, it'll be 20% loyalty credit. As long as they maintain their orders from the 7th month onward, it will be always 20%. If they ever drop an automatic order any time thereafter, they'll have to start again from tier 1.
It's not related.
Yeah, there's a question here to say, excuse me, question here to say, how will the China referral program pan out structurally? Currently, there's, it doesn't really affect it as much because the referral program is very similar to the customer program right now, where we move it to the side. There's actually going to be no legs requirement. Currently, with most of the China orders that you have, there's actually no real PV value to their orders, so it doesn't actually contribute much to your points. Besides, getting the reward program that's entitled in the China loyalty program.
Chris, we can see that you have a question. We will come to you. All right, you're unmuted.
Okay, thanks. You mentioned about the power seller bonus earlier.
Yes.
And you talked about the CV, but it's actually based on the dollar value, isn't it? So that, I mean, we usually say, one point's about $1.50. So if you say 1,000 CV, you're talking about $1,500 roughly. Is that correct?
If you do the conversion, yes, it's roughly about, just say 1,500, but the CV is actually 95% of that.
Correct. Yeah, and therefore I was going to say, so of that 1,500, 95% is $1,425. Your 15% is about $213.75.
Yes, correct.
So it's just that when you're explaining it, I know that's a really good bonus. I don't think people realise how good it is when you work it out like that.
That's right. It's because we're working on PV, doesn't sound quite a lot of money, but when you convert it to dollars, the 15% or the 10% is actually quite a powerful amount of money. Combining it with your personal AQ and your team, you're going to be earning quite close to a national check without having to be a national.
Yes. Yeah, I quite agree. It's pretty well what a national is getting now for being even a regional.
Yes.
So it's a very good income.
That's right, correct.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you for that, Chris.
Okay, we'll just move down the list. I'm conscious that we've been going for an hour and a half now, so go back up. One more.
So a question is, I've enrolled a new customer as an associate that's ordering a true Plenish bundle right now and therefore can't buy this as a member. Can they revert to customer on the 1st of July rather than staying as an associate? Now, yeah, the True Health bundles is available for members right now, but of course it is at the members' price. However, coming 1st of July, if they do decide, that they're going to be just a customer, you definitely can sort of convert them to a customer if you need to, but they do still need to terminate their existing account as an associate and do do you require to wait out the 6 VPs?
No, they've just signed up. I'd be strategic in where I would place them, because if you put an associate into somebody in your team and somebody else thinks they have a new team member and is getting the volume, so if you're going to maybe sign up that associate, wouldn't you think about, you know, going wider rather than in depth? But I would, you know, maybe have that conversation with your upline too, on that, because, you know, they can always give you very clear advice on strategy that way. Who else do we need to go? Okay, you did. Okay, so that should answer your question. We have gone quite late. Does anybody else have a question? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Karen, we can see you.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Right.
Okay. Guys, I'd like to thank you all for your time. These are very, very exciting times. You know, I'm talking to people and they're telling me about the amount of customers that are coming into their business, how it's easier to share. It is quite a lot to take in for us now, but, you know, a lot of people have shared that they find that it's easy to show the money for new people, new prospective business builders, specifically with the AQ and the AQ team. You know, so the opportunity is there now, and it really is a fantastic time for us. And it's, you know, going from 18 ways to earn to 6, I think that gives us all a lot of clarity, you know. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to Stephen. You know, we're all doing a lot of work on this, but he really has been driving it. He gets it inside out, upside down and back to front. And it's made it easier for all of us here too. So, you know, Stephen, thanks for everything that you're doing and that you're going to continue to do.
Thank you.
And look, thank you all. I love hearing your stories and your strategies and what you're planning to do. It shows there's a lot of excitement out there. Change is never easy for all of us, but if we embrace it and we love it and we figure out what it means for us, we can really, really move forward. I think most of you would agree. I can see people nodding and smiling. It's an exciting time to be part of Manatech, wouldn't you say?
Yes, totally. You know, like I just also want to say, you know, now is the time to do things. Let's not wait until and see what happens with the complaint. Let's be proactive and, you know, put things in place so that you will be reaping the reward. Like Chris outlined with, you know, the power seller and the team AQ and personal AQ, you're going to be making so much more money, and your new people is going to be making so much more money up front really quickly, and they're going to see the power of the new complaint, and therefore that's going to create the momentum that you need to keep going and build a really big successful business, which we're hoping to celebrate at our convention.
And we can see pictures, so we know where people have dialed in from, and, you know, people really have made an effort to be on this call. I'm not going to out somebody, but somebody's in an unusual spot and has dialed in. So kudos, you know who you are because you're smiling at me right now. So guys, thank you all for your efforts. You will continue to hear more from us in the run up to this, and we're all available should you have any questions. Stephen, myself, Jeff, the customer service team, anybody here. So don't be shy, and we'll see you all, talk to you all soon.
Yes, and the recording will be available either tomorrow or at the latest on Monday.
Okay, so manatechblog.com for all the recordings. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
Bye.